Hello and welcome to the 10 Million in 10 Years podcast. I'm David, your host. I've got Matt Callaghan with me today. So welcome, Matt. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
One of many things I'm keen to talk about today is solar electricity.
Yes.
That's something you do. That's one of the businesses that you're involved in.
Yes.
What about if we just start at the very start? So imagine someone just calls out of the blue and is like, hey, look, I've been thinking about solar energy for a while.
Yep.
I'm looking at potentially getting some panels. Where do we go to from there?
Yeah, cool. No, 100%. We've had that phone call many a times now. I think the best place to start is always, I guess, what's the customer's intentions? What have they read? What's their idea around getting solar? And that can be anything from financial, people paying far too much on their power bill, or wanting to have a greener image, all sorts of that, just making a difference, or being in control of their own power. Or we've even had customers that have wanted to go off grid completely before, tiny homes, cabins, and all that sort of thing. So I think the first part is really understanding what the customer intentions with the solar is, and then from there we are able to create a design and install a system that can best suit their needs, really.
Yeah, gotcha. So with the process that you take a customer through, do you normally, I guess, do you filter them out a little bit on the phone before going and doing an inspection?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of information that we can get with, I guess, not much input from the customer. Like even simple things of their address. We can look on our software or even Google Earth and things like that, their property, what sort of roof they have, I guess how we would lay out solar panels on the steel, on the roof, and then go from there. So yeah, there's so much design and things that we can do even seeing the customer if that's what they're thinking of doing. We're already able to have a very good understanding on their needs. Usually the only thing on top of that we ask for is we ask for about 12 months of power bills, and then from there we can find the trends that happen within over that year. Everyone always uses more power in the winter for heating, but there's less sun during the winter. So how can we maximise that sun during that period, and I guess finding where their power is. For example, hot water heating, hot water cylinders, for so many people that's about a third of their power bill. So how can we best impact that?
Yeah, nice.
Knock that down.
Before we get into the episode, I just want to say a big thanks to my mate Andrew here at Airwolf Forest Motor Company for supporting the episode and the podcast.
We specialise in high-performance British, American and European cars. As a listener and a supporter of David Mel's podcast, I would invite any listeners to get in touch, have a look at our website, www.efmc.co.nz. Come and see what we've got out here and we'll take care of you.
Yeah, what percentage of people would either go with a storage system to store electricity or inquire or
so there's a few different options when it comes to that. Batteries, they're becoming more popular. Again, it really comes down to what's their customer's intentions. Whether it's they're wanting to store it and then sell it back to the grid at a different time, they can do that, and they can actually sell power back for more than they're buying it for. So that's a really good opportunity for people that are thinking about energy storage. Again, we'll design a system around those needs to best suit that and see if it's something that's feasible. Depending on how many panels they have, for example, is there enough energy that they can consume and then store and then use to sell back, and whether that makes financially sense. I think batteries are becoming more popular. Again, it always comes down to that intention. What is the consumer wanting that for, or what's their goal, and then we'll be able to recommend if that's something that's worth investigating, because batteries are a huge price jump from your standard residential grid-tied system. Grid-tied being when you send it back to the grid versus a hybrid system with batteries.
Yeah, right. Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty interesting in itself, right? Being able to buy electricity at a lower rate and then
Yes. Yeah,
resell it back.
So yeah, and we're seeing more competition amongst the power companies, probably in the first time really in New Zealand. For example, we've recently partnered up with a power provider, Electricity, and they're a 100% carbon positive company, which means that they offset everything they generate plus an additional 20%, and they sell power to consumers, and they will buy the power generated from our customers' solar, and they'll sell it on to other electricity people down the line, and they're buying power at a huge price, almost double what a lot of people are buying it for. So batteries are, especially customers outside of Lincoln and Rolleston, for example, where these projects are happening, they're a huge opportunity there for people to maximise battery systems. And again, if we can, if the goal for the customer is financial, we can create those calculations with pretty good accuracy and say, yes, this is a good investment for you, or maybe the best part is to start with the battery ready inverter, and then we can always add batteries down the line. Solar's continually to drop in price. It's been a huge price drop over the last 30 years, massive, even over the last 10 years. So as that continues to drop, we should be seeing a lot more systems like that be installed. Currently, it's probably only about 10% of our work actually have batteries at the moment. So I guess that's kind of an example of how many systems we typically at Zero Renewables actually install that contain batteries.
Yeah, cool. What got you into it in the first place? Solar.
Yeah, I mean, my background, I'm an electrician. I'm an electrical inspector. I did my trade straight out of high school in 2015, and then I guess I always wanted to start my own company. That was kind of always the goal. And then I did some business courses and things like that to start with, and then from there I came up with the idea of Zero Electrical, and then the technology these days that we're seeing in the electrical industry, the efficiencies, even outside technology in general, AI, all those sorts of things, there's been such a huge jump over the last, I'd say, in my time, 10 years. Solar is just one of those next big things that are, especially in New Zealand, it's still at such a young age at the moment. Solar's going to have a huge impact, I think, in New Zealand's power industry over the next coming years. So naturally, I guess, as electricians and innovative sort of trade, you gravitate towards that sort of those sorts of products and stuff quite naturally. So it seemed like a bit of a no-brainer to get into it, really.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Are you seeing that the software on, say, like mobile devices is keeping up as well? Like, I'm sure that these systems can be controlled remotely and...
Yeah, 100%. I mean, all our systems, with regards to the solar, we can control everything on our phones with it. The customer can see what they're consuming. They can see what they're sending back. They can see how much they've stored, what they're buying it at, what they're selling it at. At the start, it's quite funny when we do a handover for a client and see their, I guess, habits change slowly over time. For example, one of the classic questions I love asking is, a lot of people do their house admin at night. They've done the dishes, nighttime they put a load of washing on, put the dryer on, and they put their washing machine on. It's changing their habits around that to, hey, sun's up, let's do that stuff and maximise our solar generation and use that while it's essentially free for us.
Got it.
So yeah, it's quite funny, and I have a lot of customers that come back to us, and that's one thing they always talk about is the difference in the habits that they're now doing, because they can physically see on their phone the difference it makes versus doing those things during the day before they go to work. Go to work, put the dishwasher on, last thing as you walk out the door. And just seeing how over time they can really maximise, I guess, their return on investment on their system and the impact that they have. And everyone always likes that, so it's like almost a little game looking at your phone.
Yeah.
People geek out at it. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh man, I've managed to use X amount of kilowatts and it's been free, so yeah, people get pretty excited. It's an exciting product, and I think when people get it installed, they're always very excited. It's a new toy for a lot of people on there.
It seems to be human nature, right? We like a game. I think we naturally draw towards a game and saving either, or like ticking things off, or achievement, right?
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, 100% it's like a game, because even the way they design these apps, you know, they've got the little pretty pictures of the houses, and you got the icon of the sun shining down on the panels. Oh, look at this. This is what you're consuming right now. Awesome. Yeah, 100%. It's definitely like a game, and yeah, it's fun. It's a cool. I think it's quite a niche product in terms of a trade service that you get that can give that sort of personal satisfaction of like real enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, totally. Well, even just from a standard electricity standpoint, like I'm with PowerShop,
Yes.
and the way their app works is that it is sort of like a game as well, right?
Yeah.
Like buying the packs. I always used to think it was ridiculous when I first
Yeah.
came across them, but
Yeah.
I just went with them for some reason. And yeah, that whole method of buying power,
Yes.
it's almost become fun in a weird way, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's really good because it almost is a way to keep yourself accountable on what sort of power you're using as well. And I think that's the good thing with these apps now, and the smart meters and everything, is it now just gives that extra element of, I guess, responsibility for people that have it and what they're consuming and how they monitor it. Like, for example, we get customers that come to us and they have $900 a month power bills. They go, this is crazy. But at the end of the day, you're using that power. They're consuming it.
Yes.
So if we can give them the tools, yes, solar is going to make a huge difference, but it's not going to solve it. So if we can help them change their habits through the apps or with our aftercare service of helpful tips and all that sort of stuff, I think that's when you really see the big change. And I think that's the part that people actually enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. What kind of ballpark pricing can you expect? Like, not to hold you to anything or to like put any, irrelevant reference numbers out there, but just as of recording, like what are you sort of looking at for?
Yeah, I mean, our typical systems, we typically install our main package as a 5 kilowatt package. That usually consists of about anywhere between 12 and 16 solar panels, and that typically goes for around the $12,000 mark. And we complete a full service, so that's from everything from design, install, the electrical inspectors, getting your power meter changed over. We are a one-stop shop with that sort of thing. That's something that I've found that I wanted to make, I guess, a big note of was, with us, we are that one-stop shop. We will walk you through every step of the way, and I guess we can take control of that for the customer. So many times I've seen and heard of people that have had bad experiences with solar because there's so many other hidden costs. For example, subcontractors, when you need them to get someone in to install something, or the typical power company, they'll have a fee of around $250 to come out and change the smart meter. And if that hasn't been communicated to the client, I think that can create quite a bad experience.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, in the scheme of things, $200 for a $12,000 investment is negligible, but I think that it just kind of puts that bad taste in people's mouths. I didn't really know that there's more to it.
I think you're right.
So offering that full service, for that benchmark is, that's by far our most popular package. But I mean, we can start small. I think the other thing with solar is that it's not something that you do once, you get it installed, and then the people leave, and you need to deal with them again. We can always innovate and change and update, and we have customers where we install inverters that can hold a whole other string of solar panels, a string being a set essentially. You've got one set of solar panels on this side of your roof. We can future-proof it to be able to have another set later down. So you can start small and you can grow your system and create kind of its own ecosystem, really. A lot of the products these days also have integrated EV chargers, batteries, the inverter, the panels, that really complement each other really nicely. So it's not a one-stop. It's not a you come and you spend your $12,000 and then gone, never seen again. It's something that, especially as the energy in New Zealand changes over time, people are going to have to adapt to that more, and it's just going to become something that's just like how you call your Sparky or your plumber or whatever. There's maintenance to do on them and all that sort of thing as well. So It's not a one-time spend and see you later.
Yeah, cool. I would imagine that there's so much opportunity to upgrade and to reconfigure and to expand and just to generally enhance down the road as well, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the technology. I think one big thing, I guess, we always get asked is now a good time for solar? Solar's dropped so much over time. Is now a good time to install solar? Of course, I'm going to say yes, but the efficiency of the solar panels, for example, that's had a huge improvement. It's going to be interesting to see what in 10 years' time, what sort of efficiency the solar panels has and how much power they can generate. I think it's a very exciting time for the industry, and it's still so new in New Zealand. I think New Zealand, we've kind of held ourselves back with it a wee bit, especially compared to countries like Australia, for example, where 30 to 40% of homes over there have solar.
Wow.
Whereas New Zealand, we've only got, I think it's about 2%.
Wow.
So we've definitely held back, and New Zealand's a great place for solar. We have plenty of daylight, sunlight hours available for solar. So it's a good investment for a lot of people. But yeah, so I think that's the exciting part, is because we haven't had that huge boom like Australia or the UK or America. I think now is a really cool time to get into it, and see the improvements over the coming years.
So it is a bit like the planting a tree analogy?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, what we're finding the most expensive part of a solar install these days is labour. Labour's not going to get any cheaper.
Totally.
The demand for the actual cost of the professionals on the roof, that's only going to go up. So products are cheaper than they've ever been. The panels are as well. Yes, they are predicting maybe a potential further decrease, but the cost of installing them now and the return that you'll get now will offset doing that down the track anyway. So technology is always going to be better. So when do you want to hop on the train and maximise?
Yeah. I'm sure it's a bit like an iPhone, right? Like it will receive incremental updates and enhancements over time, but it's not like they're just going to release this new iPhone next year that's going to be 100x better, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. The technology is pretty much as good as it's going to get on the type of systems that are being used at the moment, without a huge left turn into a whole different new type of technology. They're saying that we're seeing somewhat nearer the end of the maximum of what we can produce with the solar panels anyway. So I think that's without a big change within the innovation and the technology, which I don't think they'll be doing with the amount of mass production that's happening with solar panels. There's not going to be that huge. Now's the time.
Yeah. Do you have the ability to sell the Powerwall, the Tesla Powerwall?
We're not certified with Tesla yet. It is something that we do. We have been a part of projects with other installers that install it. There's not too many companies out there that do it. We use a lot of Energizer products. So, for example, the battery brand Energizer. We're installers for them, and we love that product. It's such an easy system for the customer, and it's all one brand. So, for example, with the Tesla Powerwall, there's not Tesla solar panels on your roof. The Energizer is its own ecosystem.
Right.
We've got the solar panels Energizer, the inverters Energizer. We do batteries, obviously, that are Energizer, very good batteries, you'd hope. And then EV charger as well, Energizer. So the whole, again, going back to that app, you've got your own ecosystem of that product. So I think that's been quite a cool partnership to have, is with them to have that, offer that ecosystem. And it's a familiar product to people. It's just as popular. Everyone knows Energizer. Everyone's got, I think, 96 of people in their homes have Energizer batteries or something. They were saying when we were at a conference the other month. So
wow,
a lot of people. It's a familiar name, and I think that helps with a lot of people make their choice as well.
Yeah, totally. Interesting. Okay, so someone's listening to this. They're like, "Hey, I've been contemplating perhaps taking that first step into the investigation of using solar or renewable electricity. I guess they can just give you a call and go through that process. That's really cool how you can use Google Earth or those types of
100%.
system.
Yeah, we've got software that does. So, for example, we're in Christchurch, Canterbury. We've got 3D rendering images of Christchurch and the roof, so we can see what pitch people's roofs are without even going to it. And from there, we can completely lay out the design. If there's any trees, for example, we can create a shadow onto the roof, pretty much with a few clicks of the button. And from there, we can see the efficiency. For example, if you got this beautiful roof, lovely north facing, but then you've got some big trees in the way, well, then your panels aren't going to be very efficient. So this technology helps us calculate all that, and maybe it's a fact, maybe we need to move the panels to a different roof or somewhere out of the way, or sometimes it's not even feasible for them at the end of the day. And then we'll walk with the customer through that whole process. Best thing to do is, just reach out, start the conversation. If it's something that people have been thinking of, get in contact with anyone that installs solar, pick their brains. It's a very new industry in New Zealand still, like I say, so there are quite a few cowboys out there. So definitely, you want to make sure what you're getting is installed. For example, there's no real regulations around it in terms of having to have a card to install it. Yes, there's electricians, and we can work on a certain part of the power, but so I'm hoping that there'll be a change of that in the future, because there's, again, you just look over at Australia where there has been this huge influx of solar, and a lot of it is being completed by cowboys. Just takes a few Google searches to see some pretty rough installs, and we've come across a few as well. So I definitely recommend if someone is thinking of getting solar, do their own due diligence and make sure that they're using a reputable installer.
Yeah, for sure. Are you doing any commercial, or is it mostly residential?
Yeah, 100% we do. Yeah, a lot, mainly light commercial. So systems. We've done one that was 78 panels, which is for a company in Christchurch. So there's definitely large scale commercial, not so much. There's a big solar farm going out at the airport. I think there's something about 90,000 panels or something. Or in South Canterbury, 90,000 panels going in. So there's some pretty huge projects out there.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So and that will have a huge impact on the power of what New Zealand uses. Like I say, only 1.5% of New Zealand's generated by solar. That's going to surely make a bit of a dent in it and help us move away from non-renewable energy.
Yeah, wow. When's that? Is that in progress?
Yes.
Yeah.
Currently under construction now. Yeah. And then there's a few other big projects up in Auckland cracking on at the moment. So New Zealand's definitely starting to make that move. Like I say, we're 80% renewable in New Zealand already, which is a huge improvement compared to a lot of other countries. Naturally, we just have so many good resources for renewable energy, hydro, and things like that. But solar also will soon have a critical part of that. So I think it's super exciting.
Are you working with anything other than solar? Like any wind or anything?
I have installed a wind turbine in my time, not through Zero Renewables. No, that's not something that we're currently exploring. Yeah.
It's not even close to being a thing, is it?
No. I think, we're Christchurch based. We have Canterbury and the coast, so a lot of those sorts of projects aren't happening in our region anyway. So to get involved, 100%. I think wind is also pretty awesome type of renewable energy, and to be a part of projects like that would be super exciting. But it's just that's not us at the moment. We are more for the customer, I guess. We want that residential market and provide a really good customer experience for families and people that likes smaller businesses.
Yeah,
things like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about this. I think it's one of those topics that there's probably becoming more and more awareness now. Like there's more and more solar projects visibly in the market, and so I think that leads to more awareness and hopefully some more conversations.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I say, the plant the tree analogy is perfect, and that's what we're seeing. People now, as people's power bills are increasing, and it is, you don't want to scaremonger, but the price of power is going to continue to rise. So the more that you can offset, the more that you can be in control of your own power. Give power back to people. I think that's I think that's going to play a critical part in a lot of people's decision making. And going back with the price thing, for example, like I say, you can start systems as small as $6,000 and you can install a $40,000 system. It's completely up to what is the customer wanting, and then from there we can actually take it and I guess recommend. They might be on the money and go, yep, that's actually exactly what you need. Or we can say, look, this is what we're finding. These are the trends that we're finding. Would you consider this? And it's just through our own personal experiences, really. What we found works best for customers. And the biggest thing is that habit changing, though. If people want to see that change, it's up to them really to make the most of their solar generation.
What about financing or the financial investment part of it? Do you guys assist with that, or is it more?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like we have, we're part of CNZ, which is that helps us offer the green loans. So a lot of the times that there's a lot of 0% and 1% loans going around with all the major banks. We can guide our customers through that. So again, like I say, we're right at the start of the process. If that's something they're considering, we can walk them through that, who their banks are, and we can take it from there. We can go to the bank and actually say we have this customer that is interested in that and create that connection. We want to make it a seamless experience for our customers. So if that's something, the route that the customers want to go down and get that lending, 100%, we can design systems that maximise that investment. So what their repayments are for their 0% loan, a lot of time we can actually design a system that's going to offset that.
Work it. So good.
So, like I say, it's the perfect time for it because there's so much we can do. I think a lot of times people look at solar and they go, oh, solar's 40 grand, but then I never pay a power bill again. Yes, in theory you could, but there's so many options out there now. And it is, there's just, like I say, so many options out there right now. So talk to someone, if you're thinking about solar, just get in contact, and from there they'll completely walk you through the process and see what your needs are, and you can go from there.
Is there a market for second-hand panels? Just a random question there.
I would stay away from it.
Yeah.
Again, the technology over the years, even systems that are 7 years old and things, that technology is gone. I see a lot of people buy second-hand panels and try to put them on caravans, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that a few times. It's a bit of a DIY project. I think you might struggle to find some installers that would be happy to put their name against a product like that for so many reasons. Like microcracks on solar systems can have a huge impact on it. So what actually says, if this solar panel is going to generate 300 watts, over time that is going to not be as efficient, and then if it's been taken, pulled on, off, moved, it's definitely going to have an effect on the longevity of the panel. So a lot of the time start fresh if it's something that you're thinking about. The amount of admin that can go into trying to work with an older product as well, you'll probably find, again, the labour part is going to be quite expensive.
Yeah, I was trying to think why that would be a thing, like why someone would deinstall them off a property, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's companies out there that are like loan them, and I mean we don't offer that service, and a lot of time there's fixed contracts for 20 odd years, and if you move you've got to take them or buy them. That's just a market that we've kind of stayed away. It's not something that we've ever looked into, so we would prefer our customers to just own the product outright. It's easier for everyone.
Yeah.
It's no fixed term contract or anything, and if they did want to go that, well, then they can do that with the bank, or maybe one of those companies are a better suit for them. Again, it's completely up to what's actually going to work best with that customer and what's their intentions are with the product.
Yeah. Are you seeing any housing companies or builders, group home builders or spec home builders? Are you seeing any of those guys putting solar on as a sales tool?
Yeah. I know there's one company in Christchurch that I almost see solar panels on all their new builds. And a lot of the group housing companies are now also offering that as an add-on. There's quite a few other companies out there, like myself, that have an electrical company and now they've branched out into the solar. And if they've already had existing relationships with their builder or housing company, it's another service that they can offer. So, that's definitely seen a bit more of an improvement. And quite often you see it as a bit of a package, sign up. That's the typical thing that you see. Sign up for the end of the year and, you get a free solar system on. So we're not too involved with group home builders or anything like that. But yeah, it's I'm more than happy to have a chat if anyone wants to.
Oh, totally. I mean, that's one of the things that I love about this podcast is being able to have conversations with either people I find interesting or things that interest me. So
Yes.
that's that would be a big win in my books, is if someone's listening to this and they get in touch with you. So hugely interested in it. Are you seeing that word of mouth is because I can only imagine, right, if you're getting solar, your neighbours are just going to, of course they're going to see it, right?
Yeah.
So surely that must be part
I mean, word of mouth is massive anyway in Christchurch, I feel. Everyone knows everyone, or there's only one or two separations there. So, yeah, word of mouth is massive for us. That's what we find in a good chunk of our work does come through word of mouth. And same when we work on the street of people, we have a nice big sign that goes out the front, some teardrop flags and things like that. So people see it. They see us working on the roof.
You make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're proud. We love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Our vans are, we've got full siren vans, trailers. Yeah. No, the boys are pretty proud of being a part of it, I think. So it's a cool industry to be a part of. I think that's quite unique about solar. It's almost a sexy trade to be a part of. Everyone likes the idea of a free power or anything like that. Nothing's free, but the idea of solar power and things like that. So, but yeah, word of mouth is massive for us. It's been a big part of our success.
Yeah, nice. I like it. So just changing gears slightly into the EV charging space. Selfishly, I'm quite curious to know a bit more about it. We were talking about one particular type of charger the other day.
Yes.
If someone has an EV, what would you imagine the split is between the ones that are just using a standard plug-in charger and are getting a charger installed?
We do a lot of EV charger installs. Trying to figure out a split of that's quite difficult because I guess we're never a part of that process to begin with. So if people are just using a 10 amp trickle charger, I can only imagine it's only going to be a certain amount of time before the consumer might get quite frustrated with that and go, I need a fast charger, because at the end of the day you are just using a trickle charger. And what we're finding now is again, the technology and the batteries are getting more efficient. A lot of the time that trickle charge is not even going full charge overnight. So yeah, the EV charger definitely, it makes everyone's life so much easier. So people that do have EV chargers and don't have a dedicated fast charger, what are you doing? You're making your life a bit difficult, I think.
Yeah. I guess it depends on a number of factors, but I guess just to ask the question, so there's a few different types of charger. So you mentioned, what was that brand? Energizer, yeah. So they do a standalone charger as well?
Yeah, 100%. They do. Quite a few of the solar companies actually do, because we do find a lot of renewable companies are offering that a part of their service.
Yeah, nice.
And again, just grouping ourselves with that Energizer brand makes our relationship with Energizer and then also our consumers very streamlined across the board. It's very easy to manage. We've installed a bunch of other EV chargers, EvanX, which is a Christchurch brand. They're awesome. Like, their products are, I'd say, the top of the market. especially in Christchurch. If people are looking into that, then that's definitely something. And we install for Evenex as well.
Right. Yeah.
It depends on, again, a few factors. And a lot of the time, companies that you buy the vehicles from will also have a charger that they'll sell as well. And a lot of the times, those chargers are absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with them. It just makes it a bit more difficult. Again, with kind of any trades business, if we can supply the item, it comes under with our warranty. Whereas if we're installing something on behalf of a company, we can't necessarily put our name to that product because it's been supplied to us. So that's, I guess that's for the trades in general. When people want work done and the tradesman is wanting to supply the product, it's usually best to, or tradesperson, it's usually best to let them, because it will come with that warranty, their backing. They'll be familiar with the product.
Yes.
And if anything goes wrong, a lot of times they'll be happy to conduct any repairs necessary.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think maybe there's customers out there that think they might be either saving money or saving time going and getting supplies ahead of time, but
yes, almost never work out in their favour.
No.
And then again, it can create that bad customer experience as well, which is a shame because probably could have been avoided in the first place.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, the wholesalers, especially, for example, us as electricians, we've got very close relationships with our wholesalers. If people are supplying electrical gear for us to install, especially me as an electrician, I've got to feel very confident what they're supplying is okay to install. And to be honest, I don't really install a lot of owner supplied electrical gear that is required to be powered. If it can't be easily sourced from our wholesalers, that would be a bit of a red flag for us. And again, that's not because we want to make the margin on materials or anything like that. It's purely that we've got to be confident, especially as electricians, that what we're installing is going to be safe, because it can turn pretty nasty pretty quick with electricity. So
yeah, no, that's good. That's helpful. I mean, again, like this content medium, this long form content medium, being able to provide some information and knowledge to the community, I think it's good, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I guess if you're not in it, right, like you probably take things for granted because you're in it every day.
Yes.
But the consumer, the potential consumer, they've got no idea, right?
No, 100%. A lot of time they just think, oh, chuck this in, she'll be right, sort of attitude. But we've got hundreds of regulations that we need to follow. We've got books that are stacked high, sky high. That you go through some pretty vigorous training to actually come out as an electrician. So it's not as easy as just chuck some power to it and away she goes.
No,
there's a lot of tests and a lot of compliance that needs to happen.
Yeah, I was just thinking, do you think there will be a time when there is a DIY? Not that I'm encouraging DIY at all, because that's not my general personality, but do you reckon there'll be a DIY solar product that comes about?
There are products out there that are like extra low voltage that you can charge your phone with and things like that. And again, that's almost in that portable market. That's a bit more for those caravans and things like that. And nothing wrong with it. I think if people are handy enough to know what they're doing, and what they're doing doesn't actually require any sort of compliance from an electrician, and you're not tying it in with the grid to a power company or anything like that, which again would come under the regulations. So if you were going to do that, get an electrician, then more power to them. Again,
literally,
pun again. If people are into that, I mean, a lot of tradespeople are, naturally they're good with their hands and tinker away, so they're out there doing it a bit more. So if they're in a remote setup and camping and they create a little system for themselves, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah,
I guess the point of being a business and a business owner that values education and values like doing what's right for the customer, I think it's cool to be able to have that perspective of knowing what is the best solution for that particular thing,
Yes.
that particular situation.
Yeah. And I'm always happy to have a chat.
Yeah.
If anyone, we give free advice and all that sort of thing. The last thing we want is for someone to do something wrong or get hurt or anything like that. A lot of the time they can come back with some pretty nasty penalties as well. So we're always here to give out advice and I guess guide people, and what they're doing does require things like needing an electrician or things like that. People, a lot of people are very curious with it. Some people think they're handy enough to build a wall and then do something, and then they try to wire up a switchboard. And I wouldn't recommend it. But we're here to give people advice. I'm more than happy to have a chat with people and guide them through that process of what they need. I think that's one cool thing is with the electrical and the renewables. We put a very big emphasis on one of our core values is self-development, and I think when people understand what they're doing and what they're working with, and it gives them the power and ability to be confident in it, from there we can use that, and we make our customers feel very at home and relaxed with the whole process. That these guys know what they're doing. We love to know what we're doing. We love to be all over our product in every avenue. So I think self-development has been a huge key for us, and like I say, for myself being an electrical inspector, that's kind of your next step above an electrician. So with this solar, we have roofers, because a roofer is a lot better on a roof than an electrician that's just started to do solar. So using those external people, yes, we have in-house roofers, but being able to offer that again is we have become that one-stop shop for people that is going to completely make that process so streamlined. And as we have slowly mastered that over the years, it's been now is the point where it's such an enjoyment for ourselves to be able to offer that, because we feel like what we're doing is pretty cool, and we're offering that awesome service.
Amazing. Yeah, that's so good. I was personally surprised at that price point. I thought it was going to be more like that. I thought it was probably more in the 20k minimum, but
yes, just to make that dent and to start to see that process, it's not gonna be that huge figure. Maybe 10 years ago, yes, and I think that's when solar first became a thing in New Zealand, and those numbers have stuck into people's heads.
Yes.
But the technology has changed massively.
Yeah.
Think about, again, going back to the phones. Talking phones 20 years ago to what phones are now. A lot of people they still think that they're going to get that product that they heard of 10, 15 years ago. But no, we're all the way over here now. It's been a huge increase in innovation. And I guess the only reason we know that so much is because we're involved with the industry every day. There's not too many education on the front of the efficiencies until people make that initial consultation. And what we find is once that initial consultation's started, wow, the customer's eyes are, open, and oh man, this is way bigger than we thought. The potential. It's not just throw 40k at it and never pay a power bill again.
That's right. Yeah, especially being able to run those numbers and gauge or assess efficiency up front. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
calculations are massive. Your average time payback for your system, you're seeing around anywhere between 7 and 10 years. And Energizer, for example, the product we use, they guarantee their product for 30 years with the efficiency. Inverters about 10 years, the thing that turns the sunlight power into usable power. But the actual panels on your roof, that almost as long as, well, I think even longer now than a lot of the roofing materials that are out there.
Amazing. Yeah, it's so good. Plus combine that with that potential 0% interest, just makes it even more accessible, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about accessibility and I guess open communication around it, what you're getting for your value, because a lot of the time, almost always, people will still have a power bill. It's not eliminating your power bill, but we can half it, 3/4 it, 80% it, it's definitely something that we can do. To actually get rid of a power bill a lot of time doesn't make sense, because there's a lot of things, daily charges, which are outside of your power usage. The line charges what the lines company charge you. You know, there's all these other costs associated within your power bill. It's not just how much power I've used. So to eliminate that, we've really got to go above and beyond to get rid of that. So yes, people will still tend to be left with a power bill, but it's if you can look at the long-term figures of it, and you see around that 7 to 9 year payback, then that's going to have that's the part. After that 10 years, you know, you still got another 20 years of that panel being up on your roof that's going to be able to generate. And if not, and you sell your house, well, perfect too. A lot of the time they say solar increases your home value by quite a bit, which automatically has paid off the system.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
It's not something, it doesn't have to be on your forever home. It's definitely something that you can do to your existing home to add value to it as well. Yeah.
Cool. I love it. This has been one of the most narrow podcast episodes I think I've ever done, sticking specifically to one topic.
Yeah.
That's quite something.
That's what we do.
Where I was going with that, though, is if we were to look at this as a time capsule, so 2024 September, and say we were to sit down again this time next year in 2025, do you have any predictions on where the industry might be? Any changes? Any just thoughts on where we could see it going?
Yeah, so maybe within a year, I can't imagine a huge amount of change. A lot of times we see energy usage come up during around political years. Labor tend to offer a bit more incentive to people and things like that. So within the next year, there could be, I think we'll see a lot more power companies offering better buyback rates, and to the point where, that they'll start to compete with each other. And a lot more power companies are now opening their doors to that competition. A lot of the time, power companies never wanted to know anything about it, and they'll buy it back off you for pennies, and then they'll sell it back to you for 5 times more.
Yeah.
3 hours later. So, but I think that if there's going to be one change within the next year, I'd say that's what it's going to be, and then with potential a few more bigger changes, maybe in the next 3-4 years. At the end of the day, if New Zealand wants to be completely renewable by 2030, which is their goal, solar's going to have to be a huge part of that.
Yeah, nice. Very good. Well, thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Should we end with a final call to action?
Yeah.
Not to make this sound too salesy, but I'm just pro. I'm pro solar.
Yeah.
I'm pro EV. So that would be the way to end it. I think is just to get in touch, right? Just get in touch.
Like I say, because we're completely in-house, customer service is huge for us. We are a small company. We're not a company of 100 people and then we outsource all our installs to another company. We're a completely in-house service. So we're a small business, and I think that front is hugely important for any small business, is their experience that they offer their clients. So if anyone is thinking of solar or electrical or EV, reach out. I'm more than happy to come have a sit down, talk solar, explain the process, the pros and cons. Everyone's always going to have different whys with their solar. So, and I think that's one part that I love hearing from customers. What's their why? And they're, like I say, customers that are paying over $900 for power versus people that want to be in control of their own power. So get in touch. I'd love to have a chat. Matt at zerorenewables.co.nz.
Love it.
That's the way to contact me.
How good. And then we'll link your website up, and we'll link some stuff below.
Yeah.
Before we end, or before we say a shout out to our second sponsor, it's a business we both go to, IHF Health Club.
Yes.
Should we do an integration?
Yeah, 100%.
How long have you been going there for?
I've been there be 2 months now. So maybe 2-3 months. It's awesome.
Pretty recent. Yeah.
Man, what a place.
It's wicked, right? It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been really enjoyed enjoyed my time there.
Have you got to go to? Do you do the classes or weights or sauna? All of the above?
Oh, yeah, classes. Big fan of the Friday yoga. But yeah, the prana and the ride as well. Done quite a few of those. And then just the general gym as well. And the sauna.
Nice.
All of the above.
So good. Yeah. I'm a big fan. Obviously, I like trying the new bits to it. Like I did a new yoga class the other day. Very humbling.
Yes.
Very put me in my place. But but it's good to go outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah. And the staff are awesome. Super friendly and
Totally.
great team.
Was it through the other Matt that you
Yes.
came across it? Yeah.
Yeah. So he introduced me to it, and then signed up. Never looked back.
Love it. How good. Well, that's a great way to end. Thank you for your time, Matt. I really appreciate it. I've learnt a lot. And as I say, get in touch with Matt if you've got any questions. And a big thank you to IHF Health Club, located in the Crossing in Christchurch. We'll see you back in the next episode. Thanks for listening.